Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to do the Rosebud Start but for plaited stitches. On my channel there's another video that shows how to do the universal Rosebud Start for normal stitches that aren't plaited. Probably go watch that first, it's probably a little more helpful to go in order. But for plaited stitches you have to do something slightly different because the connection loop orientation at the top of your stitches is different than in plaited stitches than it is normal stitches. It's a very similar process. It's just a slight change. So I'll just show you real quick how to do that. So you're going to take your yarn. Again, I like to tuck my tail in here because it gives me a little bit of tension for what I'm about to do here. And then you start in a very similar way to the normal Rosebud Start in that you cross these. So there's an X, you always kind of pull your tail so it's further to the base of your thumb as you go along. The difference comes here is that with a normal Rosebud Start, you put your needle under everything all the way through, but for the plaited version, you put your needle under everything except for this last stitch, which has to come underneath your needle. This is the same way that plaited stitches are made when you're making the stitches, so it's just the same process. It orients your connection loops at the top of your stitch in the right direction. So you pull through. Now I've got 2 loops. You continue that process until you have as many loops as you need. Again, how you do that is you add the total of front loops and back loops in a stitch altogether. I'm going to go for telemark here to show you a little sample so you can see, which means that I need 3 loops altogether because there's 1 on the thumb or 1 front loop and 2 back loops. So I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to go under everything except for this active thread, the one that goes to my needle. That needs to go under the needle from like this perspective. I'm going to pull through. And now I've got 3 loops and they have the right orientation for the connection loops on top. I'm going to make a couple telemark stitches really quick. So when you have the right number of loops, you split it how it needs to be. So I need 2 back loops, 1 front loop, and these back loops are going to be 1 through the front to back, 1 back to front, come through. And then because it's a plaited stitch, my needle is going to go over the active thread. So everything's already been oriented that way with our start. So let me make a couple of these and I can show you. Let's just do it the easier way. Okay. Again, front to back. Dig it out, back to front. Return pass. Plaited because it goes under. I use this start like I mentioned in my other video on the basic one. I use this start all over the place. You can even use it in oval start. You can use it as top to bottom, bottom to top. Oop, I almost missed that. I don't want that to lose. Okay. Let's see, is that enough? Yeah. This is a short example, but you can see. So, as with the normal Rosebud Start, you can pull this and it gently kind of cinches that into place. And you can see the difference is the little donut here that, on the normal one, it all was curling around in the right direction. In this one, the top stitches are already plaited. So that means they run this direction as opposed to that direction. Again, very useful way to start any sort of naalbinding. And this is how I make the vast majority of my projects.